Welcome back, everybody, to X's and the U. I'm Matt Kandazik, the former president of the Sons of Ben. I'm joined by ex head capo Adam Booth, and of course, forever Union legend Sebastian Latou. Guys, episode number 45. We got a lot to talk about. How's everybody's week and a half been?
Been great. Been great. Loving it. Loving life right now.
Yeah, Saba, how was your week?
Yeah, it's been good too. Getting ready for the academy to get back into the new building in Chester, and I have to tell you guys, it's pretty amazing what they did.
Yeah, we will definitely have to talk about that. So let's just get into the match reviews since we skipped a week. We've got to talk about Houston and Colorado. So, speaking of, I am in Houston right now, in the bowels of the NRG Arena or Stadium. So it's weird that
NRA
we're gonna
Stadium. Yes, I
no,
heard.
not NRA. Yeah, that would be great. That would be more apropos for Houston, Texas, is the NRA Stadium. But yeah, I'm in the stadium now doing a job for my 9 to 5 work, and we get to talk about the 1-1 draw um, Houston game. And Seba, you were there. And now that I'm here, I can really understand why that looks so sloppy because it is hot. It is 86% humidity right here. And that's not even the worst of it, the guys told me. So, Seba, what did you think about that 1-1?
I mean, it was a good point, I think, on the road. I think the game plan they had kind of worked a little bit, especially in first half. They were able to be up 1-0, but again, I think not the last minute of extra time every time kind of blow us up. We kind of feel like Houston coming back, but I think 1-1 it's a good result, even if at the end Andrew Rick got saved by his post twice, but we always say, good goalkeeper always got some luck. So it was kind of nice to see the luck is still, on the favor of the Union, and I think it was a good point. But like you say, it was so hot, so it was a lot of turnaround, in a lineup. A lot of guys kind of like playing a lot of minutes. We didn't play a lot, and I think they did well. They were compact, they play as a block, and they get a point out of it. But yeah, it's those games are so tough, because even if you play with your best 11, the humidity and everything, it's so difficult to be, on point every time, and you cannot fall asleep. And when you are Houston, you have a huge advantage to play in this type of atmosphere.
Yeah, and we'll talk about this later on, with people's talking about the schedule change, the MLS wanting to flip the calendar. After seeing that game and then being down here, I'm starting to change my mind towards that. Adam, your thoughts on the 1-1 draw with Houston in Houston?
You know, I think a lot of times when you look at a squad rotation like that, you're just assuming either it's going to be a tough sledding or you think that confidently in yourself that you're just going to mop them. And I don't know. It just seemed like it seemed like a game that the Union definitely had the opportunities to win, and then just kind of didn't put enough out there to just get the W. But look. Again, my family is from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I understand the combination of heat and humidity like anybody else. It's terrible. It's awful. And, despite the fact that Houston has this advantage, they only have 7 wins on the year. So they're not that good of a club. I think Jack McGlynn is actually one of their bright spots this season, all things considered. And, I respect the goal celebration too. I think that's one of these things that some people are like, and I'm like, you know what? When you're traded, I kind of feel like loyalty is loyalty, but at some point you got to be like, hi, place that's actually accepted and wanted me, thank you, and also I just that to me was all things considered a game that I still believe you should have got 3 points out of, but I'm not gonna bemoan it. It's definitely one of those you got a point on the road. Worst, that's not the worst thing that could happen there.
Yeah, I thought in the beginning of this, we're going to beat the drums off of them, and then I had a feeling McGlynn would have play with a chip on the shoulder, which I totally get. You get traded, and Ernst isn't the warmest and fuzziest of guys with that, so he probably just got like a text message, "Hey, you're traded." So I'm sure Jack was a little upset, but I got to agree with both of you. They got the point. They were Bradley was playing with the roster just to get guys keep guys fresh and save some guys. If this was a year ago, we would have had the same 11 playing for all these games. So I guess it's good. We saved some people's legs. Um, and got the result. Nate had a 1 game suspension for cards, and then Frankie got thrown out. So did that really affect us on the next game? Maybe not. So let's get into it. Colorado at home, 3-1. The Union with their 200th win, which is a hell of an accomplishment, but shouldn't they have reached that a little earlier, Adam?
And I mean, no disrespect to our co-host here, do you remember the early years of the Union?
Oh, I remember. That's gonna ask him too.
Okay, so like I actually believe to get 200 at this point is a decent feat. This shows how remarkable they have been over the last couple of years. But I mean, shout out to the Union getting their 200th win as a franchise. It's very interesting, as a person who grew up in the 90s, obviously, very few teams have I been around to see every single win of. But I was around to see every single Union win, so this is kind of cool. And 200 wins, congratulations to the organization. Um, Way to make it dramatic, boys. Way to make it one where the heart has to stop a couple of times. But I think when you look at that kind of a match, you like that when you look at it in post, you like a lot of what happens, but when you're watching it in real time, you are absolutely losing your mind. And I can't even imagine what it is to play in a match like that. But
And
so,
another Union Academy product just sticking it to us. First it was McGlynn, now Stefan. Just this academy is the gift that keeps giving and hurting at the same time. Seba, you were on the call, I believe. What were your thoughts on the Colorado game? That was pretty dramatical.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I think we created the most chance. We never did that already this season. But credit to Stefan in the first half, especially. He was really always on the trajectory of the shot because he was a lot on target. We missed some big one as well, but we created it. I think the team played very well. They were just really unlucky to not having maybe 3, 4 goals in the first half because it could have happened. Everybody was involved. You can see a lot of run, a lot of movement. I think everything was great offensively, and defensively. Like 1 or 2 times Colorado went in a quick counter attack because it was kind of their game plan, and they were fast. And when they did it, they scored on their pretty much only opportunity, and we're up 1-0. But I think they kept playing the same way, and they got rewarded. Even if it came really late in the game, but we got the win. They play hard. They keep pushing until the end. And again, great to see Ua coming off the bench. Even Olivas to help as well in a third goal. You see like kind of all the hard work from everybody and like the things that Bradley Carnell always emphasizes about. It's all everybody needs to be involved, and we saw them playing a lot of different guys in Houston to keep the concern, and now you have like coming off the bench Ua, who the score it's 1-1, and he come and he scored two to win the game. So great for him for his confidence, back after a little injury, and now we back in. So it's. Yeah, it was great to see like a very, very good team performance. I was not bored at all. Like some people say, oh, you get bored, you watch game, but this one was the great entertainment. Lots of great save, lots of big miss from the Union. So there's still work to be done, but you can see like they can create a lot of chances when they play like that.
Yeah, and you said it for Yura. I mean, even for Ty and Miko, what does that do for their confidence? I mean, Ty really, after the injury and being away, needed to get a couple goals to get that momentum back. And Yura, I mean, getting those two late, like what does that do to a striker's mentality, his confidence going into the next half of the season?
It's big. I mean, especially like having him, like you say, being injured, not knowing kind of his future, seeing Baribo scoring, things that we just signed, Damiani, he just shows that, yeah, he's 100%, involved. He wants to be here. He wants to like score. He wants to win. And seriously, it's tough now for the coaching staff to know, okay, which is the best pair, to start, one game after another. And I'm sure we're going to see some rotation if the three of them like keep playing this way. Even if Damiani didn't score, but he do so many like big things for the team. Holding the ball, playing, hard, coming back. You see him chasing, like all those little things that sometimes people don't see because they just focus on, oh, you're a striker, so how many goals do you have? But in a way, as the Union plays this year, it's number one for Bradley Carnell to have a forward who defend first and help the team. So those three have been great, and you can even put Olivas in it, Donovan coming in, like all those guys. But yeah, I think it's a great program to have. And now for the confidence of Ua, it's great to now have him back at his top, knowing that when he got injured, it's always like, I'm injured, you don't score, you can be in your head, you can be like funky, but I think you can see he has the confidence of the coaching staff, which is what you want as a player. You know that if the coach put you in, it means that he believes in you and he wants you to play. So yeah, that's great, team management, and hopefully we see more goals coming from different people and the involvement of everybody. But that's a big plus to have your three forward, putting the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, Adam, I mean, I know we were texting back and forth. I know this is an exciting game, but I was kind of like, man, my blood pressure can't take this. Can we get a 3-1 win
You
easy
know,
instead of
first, I want to say if Zach Steffen is added to the U.S. national team's pool of goalkeepers, you're welcome. Because I'm pretty sure we gave him an entire highlight tape just to create off of our match alone. Because 27 shots is unreal. The fact that you got 11 of those on target and only scored 3 goals, shout out to the man from Coatesville because that is definitely a performance that, is worth noting. Um, this team, though, I want to note the fact that they created 27 shots, the fact that they were able to create that level of offense, this has always been a defensive first, counter first type of franchise. But now you can see that this team is on the front foot, and they're definitely trying to establish an identity that is scoring a lot of goals and in overwhelming you with offensive prowess as well as smothering you defensively. You know, there is a 3-level system to the Union right now, where offensively, in their midfield and in their defense, they're going to choke you out in 3 different ways. The opponent, it's very difficult to challenge that. The Union will let goals up occasionally, but you're never going to see a flurry of goals be scored against them because it's just not really how they operate as a defense. And it's very refreshing to see them kind of hold it down from a shaky beginning in the season. And I'm gonna say this, if you can continue to get this many contributions, like offensively, you're gonna get 27 shots on goal most of the time. A lesser goalkeeper is gonna let a lot more of those in, and you're gonna see a lot more of those results that we were used to seeing a couple of years ago, where DC is losing by a touchdown. This is a scary moment. The dam for Bruno feels like it's about to break. Like it just feels like he's about to finally get his groove going. And to have Mika score 2 goals there, especially the way that he scored it in those fashion, and to seal a game like that, to give him the confidence of being the man once again, that's a really scary attack if you have that. And I think one of the things that is going to separate the Union from the rest of this league is the depth that they have up front. I still believe you can add another midfielder, especially one of the creative variety, maybe a pure 10 to this roster. I would love to do that. If you want to add another offensive minded striker, please, let's do it. I'm not against this. And if you want to give me one more center back for depth purposes, that's my Christmas right there. But I still believe what you have right now is the foundations of a team that can compete for multiple trophies moving forward.
well, listen, they get and we'll get into that. It's part of my rumors thing. Yeah, they get a creative midfielder and Ian comes back as the center back. I'd be thrilled. And looking ahead at the games, I think we've got 9 matches back. 9 matches left till the playoffs. 3 teams only three of those are like, ooh, that's a tough game. So yeah, there's a lot to look forward to this. So in Union news, I've got what I'm going to call good, ugh, and bad. And this is just Union local soccer news. Your Philadelphia Union are number one in Goal.com's power rankings. I never put any kind of credence on power rankings unless we're number one. Then I'm like, man, these guys are so brilliant over there at Goal.com. So congrats to the Union for being number one, even over Miami and everybody else. The meh is the Union have loaned homegrown midfielder David Vasquez to San Diego. I mean, say what you want, and got a little bit of cash, and probably is going to be a sell-on piece, and it's good for him because he's not probably won't be blocked all over the place like he is with us. So, is it going to be another homegrown that bites us in the rear end in the future? Maybe we'll see. And then the not so good. I don't know if you saw this, Adam. Mayor Sherelle Parker abandons the Unity Cup after 9 years and basically just cited safety issues for the Unity Cup. Um, I've got some thoughts on it. Don't want to get into it right now, but just wanted to let everybody know because it was buried in an article that yeah, they got rid of the Unity Cup after 9 years. Probably the only thing Mayor Kennedy did that I actually thought was a good thing because I know that guy was a joke, but we won't get into politics. Rumors. I have heard that the Union are looking for adding somebody, an upgrade in the midfield. Haven't gotten too much more of that, but that's what I heard. And of course, we all heard Ty Baribo to NYC or Red Bull rumors. Uh, Adam, you look shocked. You haven't seen those rumors?
No, I've seen them. I'm
Oh,
not,
okay.
and that kind of was like, okay, whatever about that.
I
Um,
can't see our owners letting Ty go, knowing
no,
how
I
much
mean,
they
like,
love him.
yeah, no, knowing what I know, that would be very interesting. I would be very hard pressed to imagine that will go down without a major fight. So, I would say they won't let him walk. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So he's not gonna. The Union are not gonna squander him for sure. So, but look, I mean, look. That's exciting, and I'm happy that he does have these rumors for him. I think he's gone from a guy who was a little bit buried on the depth chart behind Chris Donovan to now a darling in the league right now and sought after because New York City Football Club definitely could use an out and out number nine right now. That seems to be missing from their equation over there. There's a lot of teams that could use a Ty Baribo. So I think that when you're looking at the that as a rumor, good for him.
Hey,
I hope he gets paid.
I'll just say, hey, Jay, Richard, Ernst, we know you're listening. Sign that guy, man. Sign him. We want to keep him around. But yeah, so we'll see. League news: MLS beats Liga MX in the skills challenge at the All-Star game. Pretty impressive, huh, Adam? Yeah, I didn't think you got that excited about that. That was July, but the excitement was MLS does win. Whoopee. But we did have three members of the union make the team: Ty, Kai, and Jacob. And Ty was the winner goal and got the MVP. So hopefully he got a little bonus money or something like that. So, but the best news about it that I thought, besides Ty, was Messi and Jordi Alba decided, they feel the same way about the Major League All-Star game as I do, and said we don't need to go. So they got suspended. So that was probably the most interesting news out of the MLS All-Star. I don't know if you keep the All-Star game anymore. I know you've got thoughts. Go ahead,
Just
Adam.
real quick. It's not even really about the game itself. The game's useless. That's fine. Um, if you have the League's Cup now, the All-Star game is useless. I just wanted to point that out. Like the whole premise of the All-Star game at this iteration of itself is to merge the two leagues, correct? Well, you have an entire tournament that does that already. You don't need an All-Star game. It just feels redundant at that point. Go back if you want to go back to East-West, that'd be cool. I'd watch that game. But as long as you're having like a weird hodgepodge of MLS All-Stars, which is going to almost be like only 18 of like the 20 some plus clubs we have representatives, it's weird. Anyway, um, the thing that I find fascinating about just the idea of Messi and Jordi not going to this and getting suspended is just the idea that like I listened to the Dan Le Batard show down in Miami, and they have their local hour, and one of their main executive producers is a major Inter Miami fan and just a very knowledgeable person about soccer. He's also a Chelsea fan. Um, and when he spoke about it, and I know it was kind of tongue in cheek, but he basically was just saying like, for the amount of stuff that Messi has done recently, they should have just let this slide. They should have just let it go. They should have just let him go home. Someone just claim it's an injury as opposed to just a straight blow off. And he was a part of the only team in MLS to perform well in the Club World Cup. He's been carrying views and jersey sales in this league for the last 2 to 3 years. All these things combined, he should not be suspended for missing an All-Star game that is all by and large something that I don't believe in personally myself. And I was just like, tough. No one's above the law. Yada yada yada. Suspend him. You can't just blow off the league because when we're trying to get credibility and not trying to look like the quote unquote retirement league, even though apparently Mueller's going to go to Vancouver soon because duh. Uh, the stars, quote unquote, blowing off their obligated activities doesn't really help the image of us. Because I don't really believe if Messi was in the equivalency of a Premier League All-Star game, that he's going to be like, yeah, let me not go and do that. Let me absolutely just like, I'm going to go to Bora Bora instead.
I mean, listen, he could have popped on a private jet, showed up, make an appearance, not play, just like you said. I've got a calf strain, I'm not playing, but wait from the sidelines and people would have been fine. So, I was glad he got suspended. I was glad he got angry. I was all right. Seba, you want to weigh in as a former player, about people blowing off these, all-star exhibition games? Any thoughts on the suspension? Would Sebastian Latou have gone to the all-star game?
Yeah, I mean, it's an honor to be, I guess, called to an All-Star game. But for Messi, for sure, he's the top of the top. So I can see for him in his shoes, it's kind of like, yeah, whatever. But I feel it's a big responsibility, he had on the league. We pay him so much money for, being the face of everything. You have to do it, and there was a lot of expectation at the All-Star. We all know how in the US, how you want to do it. It's compared to Europe, it's something you have a unique thing to do that. But you want to show, and you want your best player to be here. And even if it's not to play the game, he could have done the competition challenge, or whatever it is, the day before. I don't know. But yeah, it was for me. It's yeah, of course. Part of me are like, yeah, okay, I understand why he's not playing. He's old and he has to do some amazing, and he doesn't want to play that game. And at the same time, it's like, do you know how much money we pay him? With especially Apple and everything. He's, it's all about him. So he has to be here. Otherwise, why are we paying him that much? I understand who he is, but at the same time, it's like it's less money for any other team.
Yeah, and big thing about the MLS All-Star game, the only reason I would go would be for the meetings. There's owners meetings, there's executive meetings, there's players. That's the whole reason. It's a big networking event. That's why people are going to this thing. So, and speaking of at the meetings, the calendar change coming soon. Don Garber literally addressed and said, "We believe that alignment is something that makes sense." So it seems like Adam and Seba that the calendar change might come sooner than later, maybe 2027. I don't know. And I know we've talked about it, and I'm starting to, if I can be convinced that they can do it the right way, take a winter break and avoid or schedule, hey, if we're going to play in February, we're only playing in Texas and Florida and California away games, then I could get behind this. So I don't know if you guys want to weigh in real quick on the calendar change and your thoughts. Just fire away.
I'm okay. We'll talk about it and see what happens. You never know.
I mean, I think it's kind of dumb in a league that still has to grow, but it makes sense if you're trying to be normalized as a league as opposed to trying to be the one that plays in summer the whole time. The weather thing is going to be a problem. I mean, MLS or FIFA just realized that it gets hot in summer in America and they're scrambling to figure out how to do the stadiums for the World Cup. I just feel like they don't realize it also gets very cold here too. But we'll see. I don't see it beating college football in Columbus, so I don't know if that's good for the crew, and things like that. So
Yeah, we're going to see, and it's something that we'll keep an eye on. One other thing that I'll just mention: the League's Cup started. Since the Union aren't in it, I really don't care. I've been kind of casually watching it on FS1, but I don't think I'm going to go over any results on the pod. I don't think anyone has any interest that much in the League's Cup until it gets a little further along.
America's getting its butt kicked. There's your analysis. Liga
After we won the
MX,
All-Star game, I can't believe that.
yeah, Liga MX is taking us behind the woodshed right now.
Speaking of woodsheds, Inter Miami just did the transfer woodshed to the rest of the league. I guess you saw this, Adam. You
What
want to
are
break
they
it?
this is the really quickest rant in the history of mankind. What are they doing? How are they allowed to do this? Someone has to explain this to me. What is the money being moved here? There's again the Miami podcast I listen to, they themselves are not even 100% sure how this is possible. They don't understand how the money is working. They don't. And I don't get it. I want Ertz to get fined again because I'm sure he's asking the exact same questions. Like, you have a set of rules that we are all obliging by. And look, it doesn't affect the union because the union are never going to spend that level of money anyway, at least not in the short term. But it is insane to me that you are allowing Miami and by proxy Los Angeles Football Club to build super teams in terms of notoriety. Maybe not in terms of talent, because it's a little over the hill, but in terms of notoriety, you're allowing them to get some of the biggest names in the sport to play for them under a salary cap that would literally not happen in any video game alive. Every FIFA iteration would say this is an illegal transaction you're doing. How are you allowed to do this? There's no money for this.
Well, Adam, I'm willing to bet that if you went to Inter Miami's front office and did some digging, you would find someone that works there that used to work for the University of Miami in the 80s, because that's basically what this is. There's some shady booster crap going on. I can't explain it, but
No,
uh,
it's not even
and
shady because the booster aspect would be, oh, it's just people from Miami helping the program do this. This is a league thing. This is for sure because Major League Soccer has to allow this to happen. People forget we play in a single entity league. Everyone is a part of the grand umbrella that is Major League Soccer. So Major League Soccer has to approve of them doing this and circumventing the exact rules that they put in place in the first place. That's just the thing I'm confused about. I'm not even mad at them getting the player itself. I love that people want to come to MLS now. It's beautiful. I love it. They're getting younger, they're getting more talented. I like that. I just want to know how they're allowed to do that based off of the information I've previously had on the subject.
Seba, anything to say about Rodrigo de Paul coming from Atletico Madrid to Inter Miami?
I mean, that's it very well. There's nothing much to add besides saying to the league, okay, if you do that, let's just fucking open the gate and everybody can spend whatever they want and make the teams they want to make, with the money they have. And now there's no more discussion. Nobody can complain. It's like you want to spend, you spend. But yeah, it's very weird, like how many players they can get for the budget every team is supposed to have. So yeah, I'm with Adam. It's a bit fishy what's going on, but yeah, it's what it is. But it's good to have another great player. But I think like the rules of the cap and everything. If I think teams want to spend money, which is great, and want to get a lot of great player, go ahead. Make a super team, spend your own money, but don't make in the same umbrellas as the rules of every club in this league.
Totally agree. Totally agree. Atlanta United loaned out Noah Cobb to Colorado with a permanent trade option. The Crew Who did the crew get from? They got someone from the Egyptian team, Adam. I can't remember. I'm
Give me a
looking at it,
clue.
but it was a $7.5 million fee. So Columbus strengthened them, which is something we want to look at as being, the Union and the crew in Cincinnati and Miami are the teams we have to battle in the East to make the
Nashville
MLS
too. Don't
Cup.
forget about
Oh yeah, in
Nashville.
Nashville. But yeah, so the crew made some moves. So yeah, the transfer market's opening and going, and let's hope Ernst can find some magic where Ernst finds magic. We know his MO. He's going to pull a guy that we're going to be like, who the hell is this guy? And hopefully turns into the next Kai Wagner. Match previews coming up. Adam, are you excited on Saturday? Frankfurt comes to town, the return of Paxton Aronson, and big news because Tannewald's article said it wasn't being broadcasted. It is going to be broadcast at PhiladelphiaUnion.com. Seba and Dave are doing the broadcast, and it will be on the website, the YouTube channel, which, maybe that's a chance for the Union to skirt around Apple once in a while and get that. So, Seba, I'll let you talk about it real quick because you're broadcasting it. What are your thoughts for Frankfurt United coming up?
I mean, I think it's going to be pretty much I would say, a practice game for both teams. Frankfurt tried to get ready for their season, and having a break with not playing in the Leagues Cup and try to get ready for Toronto. So we're going to see probably everybody play some minutes and probably try. I think they're going to take that game to a preparation of what they would like to do against Toronto. But it's always fun to play different team for a different country. The Frankfurt player are here to get ready as well, and they're gonna play hard because some of them maybe wants to show to their coach what they can do and play well in this preseason game. So no, it's great for the team to show it on YouTube. I know it's a feed who's going to be used by the German commentator of Frankfurt to show them to their fans. So yeah, I think it's great what we can do to be able to show a friendly game to everybody in Frankfurt.
And Adam, do you think another Academy product will bite the Union in the rear end and steal victory from us in this exhibition game? What do you think Paxton's going to do?
So, Matthew, did you know that Frankfurt's airport is the largest airport in Germany? It is the international hub. It is actually
Uh,
the airport for which Philadelphia, if you're flying into Germany, that's more likely where you're going to fly into. It is also a major railway hub and a hub of industry. There's many of the major conglomerates and juggernauts of German industry are centralized in Frankfurt. It has a great number of museums as well as beautiful stadiums and some of the best architecture around, with also being the fifth largest city in Germany. Everything I just said was infinitely more interesting than this game we were about to watch on Saturday.
Adam, did you know Frankfurt, they drink more cider than beer, unlike the rest of Germany?
It is a fact that I did not know, but I'm going to add that to my bulleted point list. Look, I like me a good friendly. Everyone have fun. Everyone enjoy the sunshine. Please, nobody get hurt. Enjoy you two versus some weird version of Frankfurt's A and a half team, I guess. What are we doing? But enjoy.
Well, let's get it to something that you will care about. August the 9th, home versus Toronto FC. Toronto just lost to Charlotte 2-0. So listen, this is a chance to reboot the season, turn the page from the All-Star break and everything else and get moving and look at these last 9 games. So who would like to preview Toronto? Adam, you want to go first and then we'll let Seba do it? All right, hit it.
Real
Toronto, what do you
quick.
think?
Rotate the squad. That game, I think you should be able to beat Toronto in their current state with Andrew Rick in net and with most of your guys rotated. I don't know what part of the trio you want to start, but start two of them and have Chris Donovan on the trigger ready, score 2 goals, get everybody out of there, and prepare for the U.S. Open Cup because that's a infinitely more important game than this game that is going to be played against Toronto. I mean, every game is important. But at this state with Toronto, you should be able to do something decent at home against, or do decent against them with a rotated squad. And you have to prepare for the Red Bull game that had to be repostponed back into August 13th. I think if you're the Union, you must prioritize this competition as well as anything that involves you possibly getting silverware because you're too good to not.
This is an opportunity for you. So I would say to truly waste energy on the Toronto match, even if it results in a draw or even, God forbid, a loss, would still not be as important as making sure everyone is healthy and ready for that game against Red Bull.
Well, now I got to go to a certified official coach with paperwork, Sebastian Letou. What do you think about this Toronto game?
Yeah, I disagree with Adam about the approach of the Union. I think it's home games. They need to go for the 3 points, and then move on to the next game in Open Cup. But yeah, it's a team who is struggling. I think at home having 2 weeks to prepare the game, I think is great. Uh, Hopefully, like Adam said, no injury against Frankfurt. Everybody, just get some minutes, get ready, and then when they get back on Monday, they are ready to get into Toronto and get the 3 points. And after, you'll see what's going on when we receive Red Bulls, and it's a home game, so there's no travel. I think it's enough time, but I would love to just get another 3 points, stay on top of the East and supporter shield, and keep putting pressure on all the other team who right now a lot of them are playing Leagues Cup. So we play Open Cup, which is great, another game for the team. But yeah, I believe that for me 3 points it's very important against Toronto.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see a win against Toronto and keep everybody healthy and ready because Adam, you previewed it, and I'll say it now. Let's get into it. We've got Red Bull at home, August 13th. It's a team that we've had a lot of success against in recent years, and it's a team that we should have success against, and it's a team I'm hoping we're not going to overlook in the Open Cup. So, Adam, your thoughts on Red Bull?
I look, this is my own personal bias, and I think, Subba's lived through a little of this, but like I vividly remember every one of those Open Cup runs. I remember 14, 16, and 18 very, very vividly. That was where I really fell in love with this club, but also felt my first true heartbreak with this club. And for me personally, I think it's really important that this team tries to prioritize to get this title, especially with the teams that are left, and especially with the team that it has. I think in the past, when they played Seattle, when they played Kansas City, I didn't believe they had the best team. I believe they went into that hoping and having an opportunity to win, but I don't believe they had the best roster. I believe they have the best roster left in the tournament. And therefore, I believe, and I don't want to treat it like Chelsea in the Conference League, but I'm saying to myself, you should win this trophy. Take it seriously, please, because you can, and if they can definitely win this matchup against Red Bull and get themselves into the semifinals, I think you will see a Union team definitely looking to prioritize games around it in terms of making sure that they're healthy and ready for a possible title run.
Yeah, Seba, I mean, you've been part of those Open Cup teams. What are your thoughts on this upcoming Red Bull and the success that we've had against Red Bull? Is there any warning that we might be like, well, we've been beating Red Bull all this time, we got this,
No,
or yeah,
no, I feel like it's a different competition. But again, I agree with what Adam is saying. If you just say like the Open Cup is important, I really believe Open Cup is important too. But I feel like first it's Toronto, and then they're gonna be like 100% on like trying to win this Open Cup game. We are two wins away to get the first Open Cup in history for the Union. So I don't see them not taking it seriously. It'd be weird. So
that's fine.
no, I think the team is going to play on Bunker will be ready, and hopefully we get a good game. I think the game of Toronto I think will help with the game on Wednesday, because I think if we do a great game against Toronto, and which is Toronto team who is struggling, who is not ready to come here maybe to get a win or play without fear, then you can play a team of Red Bulls who's going to really come here to make a result happen. So I think it's the Toronto game will give a lot of like confidence for the Wednesday game against the Red Bull at home again, because then we play the Red Bulls again at their house. So, which this one will be important, but if we beat them both, it'll be perfect.
I like where your head's at. I'm hoping that happens for sure. I'm excited because I'm actually going to be home, so I'm going to be able to go to Toronto into that Red Bull game. So I'm glad I didn't opt out. I'm hoping the crowd comes to the Open Cup game since we fought so hard to keep the Open Cup game, tongue in cheek. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to two good results and finishing up this season. While we're wrapping this up, Seb, I just have to ask, how was the camp? How was the Latu soccer summer camp?
Oh, we had a perfect week. Weather was unbelievable. No rain, not too hot like this week. No, it was great, and all the kids were fantastic. Lots of fun, a lot of soccer, and yeah, and we got 10 as well, so it was nice.
See, that's the reason to book for next year, everybody. Keep it on your calendar for the summer. And Adam, any thoughts on the Phoenix? I know you guys, have you wrapped it up or you wrapped up? It's
Yeah,
done, huh?
it is a wrap. We did not make the playoffs this year. And we just had our lovely doubleheader of the Fitness Day at the Franklin Institute, as well as the Wildwood Spectacular, the Wildwood Beach tournament that we co-host with them, which is the largest outdoor beach frisbee tournament in the world. Fun fact. But
You
yeah,
are bringing Adampedia back today on this episode.
I mean, when it's my employers, it's a little bit of a cheat code. But yeah, we appreciate everyone who came out. There's actually a couple of people from the Sons of Ben who came out, and I really appreciate them doing that this season. We're gonna be back with a vengeance next year. I'm actually really excited for next season. I think our team is poised on making a little bit of a run, and we'll be year 3 in Delco. So we have finally established a home in Aston, PA. So I hope it brings some more people out.
Sounds good. All right. Unless you guys have any other points, I think we can put a bow on this. This was episode number 45 of X's in the U. I want to thank both you gentlemen for joining me and thank everybody out there for listening. And we will see you at Subaru Park. Go Union.